Let's call this meeting to order. Welcome, everyone. Welcome to all the regular board members and welcome to some special guests we have. We'll welcome Donald Delfacchio, our acting city clerk. Glad to have you here. I'm sitting to my right. And welcome online. We have Karina Walter from the Standards. To you as well, Karina. Always good to know who's here. Land acknowledgement. We do have a meeting schedule and Jen is on for that.
We begin this meeting by acknowledging the land on which we gather as the traditional territory of the Haudenosaunee and Anishinaabe peoples, many of whom continue to live and work here today. This territory is covered by the Upper Canada treaties and is within the land protected by the Dish that runs through Wampum Agreement. Today, this gathering places home to many First Nations, Métis, and Inuit peoples, and acknowledging this reminds us that our great standard of living is directly related to resources and friendship of Indigenous peoples.
Thank you so much, Jen. Can I have a moment and I'll ask anybody for any declarations of interest? Conflict of interest, anyone? All at once? All in twice? Sold. And now we have an agenda in front of us. We will be moving one piece ahead of time so we can make the most out of Donna's time, and that's subject on council representation to the SCDA board. If we can move that to just prior to the staffing at B2. So it will be like B 1.5. With that amendment, can I have someone make a motion to, thank you, Jen, seconded by David, all in favor of the agenda? All right, any opposed? All right. Any abstentions? All right, thank you so much. And now can I have a motion to approve the minutes of the July 7th board meeting? Thank you, Jen, seconded by.
Sure.
Thank you, David. All in favor? Any contrary minded? Any abstentions? All right, thank you. Let's move straight ahead. All right, so our first item then, prior to staffing, is council representation on the SCDA board. Is there a specific person that would like to speak to this?
Sure. Sure. Do we want to hand anything out to anybody or? No, we can put the points. I just wanted to begin by saying that there wasn't much consultation between when this seems to me that the stakeholders weren't really part of the discussion when the heritage designation was enacted or conception, the green light to spend $250,000 without the board having no knowledge, just kind of started the process with the businesses and the stakeholders being in a catch-up kind of process. Start off with that.
I guess of note is that both of our downtown board councilors were advocating contrary to the direction of the board and the motion of the board that there was zero appetite for any sort of designation in the downtown, that it would be absolutely destructive for many small businesses.
Okay, if I can just hang on just a second, Joe. Can I just ask for some short clarification and correct me if I'm wrong? So the question on the floor is we can be a little bit more specific. Is Councillor McPherson effectively representing the Downtown Business Association on the board? And my understanding is that the positive is that no, specifically based upon their position on heritage. Is that a fair way of putting this out there?
Well, advocating against the Downtown Association board, against the Greater Niagara Chamber of Commerce, Niagara Real Estate Association, and acknowledgement from the OBIA that this was going to be very difficult for business. It's hard to feel like business is being well supported.
And so, but this is again specifically related to heritage. I just want to be extremely clear, not to anything else. Is there any other issue specifically? I've got Jen and then I've got Orhan, but if I could get an answer to that question, is it anything other than specifically heritage?
I think there's a general sense of how that is indicative of support of the business community.
Okay, but there's no
So-
example. I just
It's a
want.
very good example. You know, at a time where CBC is reporting that up to 50% of small business in Canada is at risk of closing in the next 12 months with the current economic conditions. This was all brought forward when we were trying to catch up, but it was to no avail. So it is all encompassing for business.
Jen,
You just,
if you can address the.
sorry, through the chair, please. You both had mentioned stakeholders. I didn't know who you were identifying as stakeholders in this. Not just building owners, like who are your stakeholders? Because I certainly
would be,
was pro heritage.
certainly our downtown association membership, business owners, property owners, investors,
But I.
tenants, employees,
Jen, I cross talk if you can actually come back.
tenants, employees. All those considering investment in the downtown and all those that are invested in the downtown.
Because that's already been answered.
Yeah.
We understand that there are people who were actually pro heritage within the
Yeah,
downtown.
pro heritage, big time.
Not a lot.
Yeah.
And as a statement of fact from the SCDA, as opposed to the heritage designation. So just that we're fully clear on this. I'm gonna go to Oregon. Thanks.
Well, I think it's just an accumulating situation with our counselor that he doesn't return phone calls. Doesn't return emails promptly. This has been going on for quite some time and just lack of leadership in the downtown core through her. And I'm thinking that I think that's just. Basically on the cake was basically the correct situation, but never returns phone calls, doesn't return emails promptly at all, if any. And that's been going on for quite some time. So people are struggling, people are complaining to me an awful lot about that. It's been going on for quite some time. And you can even review some of the previous meetings in the past, and you can see where I've said, no, you don't return emails or phone calls back to people.
Okay, so lack of responsiveness.
Exactly.
Your concern.
That's part of it. There's various parts, but that's one of them.
Great. And I'm gonna turn it over to Kat, because as the person who's actually got to actually deal with the city primarily, is that also your experience?
I have not had experience like that through how I've dealt with the counselors and the city staff. And I have not had any issues previously to this brought up, so there's.
Great, okay, that's just, Donna, I'm gonna toss it over to you, just for clarification. Now, my understanding is that the representative to the Downtown Business Association Board of Directors is nominated and ratified by council. That's correct. And so are all of us. We are also positioned as ratified by council. So council has the discretion to remove us. We do not have the discretion to remove the council member. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay, so what are our options if we were to, or do we take a vote to write a letter? If that were in fact what are our options here?
Conversations over.
I'm sorry.
Conversations over.
I think there's a number of ways that this could be approached. There could be a conversation with that certain person with their personal concerns directly. Work that out like we would with any other member of the committee. If you felt it was that extreme, you could write a letter to council expressing the concerns. It would go on a council agenda, depending on the content, of course. And for council to pull that item if they so wish. And like you said, ultimately it's up to council. They've appointed council, the person as a representative, and it would be up to them if they wanted to remove her.
And council, first, is there anything that you want to add? No. All right.
May we ask a few questions?
Yeah, I'm gonna go to Katie and then I'll go to you, Bill, if that's okay?
Can I just clarify if this discussion is, is there a motion on the floor? Or are we just trying to discuss what potential,
There is no motion on the floor because we're just going through exactly.
we're trying to figure out what the options
Yeah.
are? Okay, thank you, that's all I was.
Right, Joe?
When it was first being considered for the heritage study, I would presume our two downtown ward councilors would have had discussion about, how do we bring this to the board? I wonder, why would it have been decided that this isn't going to come to the board? We're going to make the $250,000 investment. And the board can be part of the public discussion.
So I believe that would be actually a question for the entire council, because that was the city staff that brought it to council. Therefore, that's completely, we are not in that piece of the process, just logistically, is that correct?
That's correct. There was a council driven initiative, staff brought it forward, council approved it.
So if there would have been any opportunity for it to come to the board, that would have naturally come from one of our two downtown councilors.
I don't believe that it could come to here before it actually went to council, because it went from staff to council. Not, there's no in
Before the
between there
vote?
for us.
Before the
No.
vote.
Yeah,
Well, if I was,
we would have had the opportunity to read it,
had I,
when it's on the proposal for the study, but until it's passed.
so it comes to council for a vote.
Prior.
Before council has knowledge?
Council gets the knowledge whenever they get the,
So staff will write the report to council, we would like to proceed with this initiative, and then that's how council is certified and voted.
I just don't know how it doesn't come to our board before a decision of that nature.
yeah, and I can understand what you're saying about it, it was a study, and that's why it generally doesn't come. As before, because it's not a decision to actually make it anything, we have lots of opportunity in between the recommendation of the study and then that. The study could have recommended it not to become, not go any further. I've got lots more questions. I've got it in the order of, and if I can just confirm, Jen, Warhan, Stephen, David, is that correct? Correct, yeah.
I do just want to ask, if I'm not mistaken, the downtown is part of St. Catharines as a whole, as a community, and the community overwhelmingly supported heritage, if I'm not mistaken. So we don't own the downtown, we just happen to inhabit part of the downtown. Then I really feel that it should be clear to everyone that the city of St. Catharines was pro-heritage. And
I'm just gonna have a moment here, and I'm just going to bring us back to this place. This is not a debate about heritage.
No.
All we are doing is recognizing the fact that our councilman Pearson supported heritage while the supported heritage while the rest of the downtown SCDA did not as a whole. And because of that, and potentially other issues with accessibility, there is a move afoot to request the council reassign another council. Or
I want to correct Joe, it wasn't an investment for staffing to do the survey. It was basically, what I would say, it wasn't an investment that the city made with staffing. It was basically looking for a report based on the heritage. So I just want to correct you on that. It wasn't an investment because we didn't gain anything. We gained stuff.
I'm gonna have to scratch that word because that's not actually what the funding.
I know, but I just want to clarify that. So just a clarification there.
Not all.
And the other thing too is our fellow board member here starts that, majority of the people in St. Catharines voted for heritage. Not just.
So I'm gonna add crosstalk and.
That'd be great if I could speak. Then the whole city would have been designated as heritage then, and then we would have been only go across the board.
And point of order, this actually doesn't have to do with the actual
Exactly.
situation network. So in the interest of being clear and being direct and getting through this, I'm gonna ask that we stay on topic.
Yes.
By the way, Stephen.
Thank you. The question that Joe asked, I think is a good one. But the answer I heard was that the report came to council as a staff initiative. The council would receive the report unless the report was requested by council. The councilors would not have known about the report coming until it arrived on the agenda. And in my 40 years of experience dealing with councilors, the option at that time could have been that somebody could have said, I move that we table this until we talk to the downtown association. That could have been an option.
Sure.
However, knowing that my experience would have said, the staff would have said, what we're doing is a study.
Yeah.
We're not making a decision, we're doing a study. And a study could very well have a whole array of options, which they told us. So, I can understand why we weren't asked for our opinion, because there was no decision other than the study. However, there would have been an option of any counselor to say, I want to table it, of any counselor, table this until I do get the input of the downtown. I think that would be a process that could have happened, but and council approved the study. Approved going ahead with the study only.
Perfect.
All right, thank you, David.
Let me reemphasize that this board does not have the jurisdiction to remove a counselor and a board. They can make a recommendation. I'm taking a little bit of an exception, Madam Chair, where you're saying that the heritage has nothing to do with this. I think that a big problem arose out of this study, which was perceived by certain people as prejudicial towards the business community, the property owners, and tenants. We don't seem to understand the financial obligation that a business has downtown. The property owners with tens of thousands, millions of dollars. So they do have a financial interest. And it is the feeling that this study, whatever you want to call it, did attack the very threshold to which these people exist in business, property owners, and tenants. The implications of the study, I won't name it, because you don't want to name it. The implications were far-reaching. And it seemed that our two counselors totally ignored, notwithstanding they were approached, the problems that business is going through today. We've got problems downtown. One counselor had the nerve to say to me, well, we're not, this is a city council.
David, if we could please keep it into scope, and that is actually.
Well, excuse me, this is all part and parcel of the input information, I'm sorry.
I feel it's relevant.
One counselor said, we're not interested in the homeless and the drug, go to the region, and that was in an email to me. It's all part and parcel of the problems facing downtown. We just don't have a heritage situation. Let's face it, we have a homeless, and we're all sympathetic to it. And we all understand it, and we all want to remedy it. We all understand the drug problem. We understand the mental illness. It's all part and part of it. But it's focused downtown. And that's where the main part is. So the business owners, and there are residential, and let me say that not every business owner supported heritage. There were a number that were against it. The number was small because we had 2 meetings, and overwhelmingly it was indicated that business and property owners don't want it. There were some that did. I'm not going to say everybody did. There were some that did. The situation is
I'm
no.
afraid I'm gonna have to stop. It is part of our bylaws that comments are limited to 2 minutes. And I'm afraid that that's correctly on there. Right, very.
Please note that I take exception to your comments.
I absolutely understand. Maybe.
I just further question or clarification about the discussion. It sounds to me like we're discussing how we interact with our councillor representative as a board. And this is maybe a clarification for Donna, but as having a council member as a representative of council on our board, what is that relationship meant to look like? Like, I'm wondering, because obviously we're not your only constituents, so when it comes to representing interests on council, it can't just be our what we've said, even if as a board we've unanimously voted on something, we can't be the only influence in how you represent yourself on council. So how can we improve that relationship between the way that we communicate with, through our council member as a board member, and how those interests are represented on council? I guess is my question. Or what is the intended flow through of information when it comes to that?
I think the council representative is to take viewpoints from the board, constituents, and kind of do that information back and forth.
Great.
Yep.
Okay.
And as, sorry, Kate,
No.
no, and as the board, as with most boards, the conversations generally will go through asks and requests, and conversations will go through the executive director as per, I believe, the bylaws within the downtown association, and generally that's how bylaws work for all boards. I know with the chamber, conversations I have are with Mishka only.
Right.
For example, unless Mishka asks Hugo to have a conversation with me.
Right.
But generally it's through staff. It's
So I'm just trying to think in future, regardless, say everything stays status quo. If we wanted to improve our way to communicate our concerns, would it be through making formal motions that are specifically asking Kat to relay this information?
And that is how we normally operate.
Right.
So when we do, for example, and we can use this as an example, we ask Kat to delegate. And Kat delegates. We don't delegate generally on behalf of the board. Kat delegates on behalf of the board. So the relationship is very much strongly between our council representative and our executive director. Who might make it.
and sorry, Karen, and all that as well. Kat has my phone number, calls me all the time, we talk all the time, we text all the time. I drop in, I have, great conversations with her, and
Right.
that's how it works.
Okay.
Same with the GNCC.
Yes,
So if I can move this forward, I'd just like to say, I think we have some very clear opinions. I think we can say that, and I would say that this is, I think the dissatisfaction may have been there before in our relationship with our
Not me.
city councillor.
Sorry, I want to correct you.
That's what I'm trying to say. So
Yep.
we have had dissatisfaction and before with that relationship. The primary relationship, which just clarified, is actually between the ED and the city councillor. And that they came to a head, if I could say that, through the heritage staff presentation that went to city council, that was approved by city council, with which the SCDA was opposed. For the record, did not go through. So the SC, right? So the SCDA was able to delegate through Kat and certainly had an impact.
Yeah.
In ensuring that it did not go through. Is that a statement of affairs at this?
Well, Karen, if I could. What I'm hearing is there's two steps here. The first step was the question that Joe raised. What happened when the study came up? And I think we clarified that. And then there was 6 months of kerfuffle. And then there was a decision at council. Those are two different things.
Absolutely.
And the second thing is what's getting everybody, well, I don't know what's getting in other shape, but the second thing seems to be the situation that concerns people mostly in terms of relationship. In the meantime, of course, there have been communications because individual businesses have had issues with all kinds of issues downtown who have been communicating to staff and not just Heritage. And clearly, homeless, drugs, whatever, haven't been resolved yet. And I don't know if in my lifetime they will be. So I think there's two steps here. One is the issue around input into whether the study should occur. And then the next step is, which is quite a different decision-making process. What should I do as a counselor about the recommendation of staff? I have a motion from the Downtown Association saying they don't want, and the Downtown Association doesn't
I'm
want,
Stephen.
doesn't want a heritage designation. I have input from other specific business people downtown that are okay with the heritage designation. And I also have input from other residents in the community that think which downtown designation is okay. So given that mix of inputs, I have to make a decision. And
gonna have
the
to stop
downtown,
you now.
and the downtown
You're
association.
gonna go forehand and then.
Thanks, I'm done.
Just want to say, when we really needed the support and we needed the guidance and we needed to get this through this very serious obstacle. Okay, we had no representation from the two ward members. Okay, zero, nothing. That's really, really hard for me to accept. When you look at the amount of people that were really looking for answers, struggling to come up with a solution to these problems, and there were nowhere to be found. It's very, very hard for me to accept that. I can't accept it. I won't accept it. And now dealing with this person on the board of our board here is making it very difficult. Okay, to make decisions in the future and to do things in the future. But most importantly, the lack of representation started a long time ago. I even talked with the mayor about it. I said, what's a reasonable time frame for a city councilor to get back to you? He said 2 to 3 days. I said, how about if you don't get back within weeks? And he turns to me and says, that's not right. Okay,
Okay, so I'm just gonna clarify once, this is not about our other downtown city councilor, and it's not about a personal issue, it's, although they can be indifferent, and I appreciate that.
this is the city councilor right
Appreciate
here.
that.
So,
But you brought up both downtown city councilors, so we just keep it to one. I'm gonna go here.
So we're clear that, that, you know, our counselor was advocating against the will of the board, the direction of the board, the motion of the board. Against the Greater Niagara Chamber, the Niagara Real Estate Association and the OBIA. And also was present to see at the public meeting where it was attended by our BIA members, our business members. And there were a few hands that went up in support of a district designation. And there were 95% of the remaining hands all went up against any sort of district designation. So clearly, our counselor was advocating on behalf of the general public, but we're a BIA. And we're volunteering our time on the board because we're here to support business. And we feel like it was, we were working against our counselor on something that was really critical for business downtown.
We are repeating ourselves, so I'm gonna ask us not to, we are all absolutely clear that the majority of the downtown, as reiterated continuously and repeatedly by the St. Catharines Downtown Business Association, was not in favor of a heritage district. And furthermore, we understand that many of the folks were not in favor of even a study on heritage district. Some people like to wait to actually find out what a study says first. That's our prerogative, right? Please, can we keep this moving forward and not merely reiterating what's been said? Sorry, I want to Amy first, and then Jen.
Okay, so I think, and I'm just only going by what I think, is I think that the business owners were upset with the whole heritage study because of the cost and with the struggle of the downtown, right? So if you're owning a business, you're struggling, you see money go out, and you're like, why is it going out? So I'm wondering, are we upset with the amount that went out or the actual person that represented? Because our representative is Kat, right? We're to go through Kat, not through, so you can have a different opinion than us. It would be Kat that would have to have the same opinion as us. Am I right?
Absolutely.
So I think that's where I kind of have to understand the whole situation is that it's not actually counselor's decision whether it made it through, and it didn't make it through. But that's kind of where we are. So our
I've got Ben out first and then over to.
So if, I'm nervous for putting myself there, to the chair, of course, if, or if you're.
That is not good.
Through the chair, if certain directors are, you know, really upset about this or not. Happy with how the board is going or the DIPIA, like, would you just resign?
That is absolutely
That
always
was,
not.
I mean. No, I'm just asking, I'm
That is not.
actually putting it up.
Absolutely. Beforehand.
I would never. I believe in this downtown. I have a great amount of colleagues on the board here, and a great amount of friends that have accumulated since 1987 in the downtown court. And I'm not gonna leave my friends behind when we have major situations downtown that I can help with, or I can contribute with, or we can discuss with. I'm not going to do that. So if I'm gonna complain, I'm gonna complain about fixing problems, not making my quit. I don't quit.
Chair is talking about.
Just absolutely not.
How are we gonna draw this conversation? to a
Stephen,
close?
please. Beforehand, can we get back to the matter?
Matter at hand.
Nobody is asking you.
Yeah, well, it's kind of the same.
What I'm talking about.
Please, no problem. And no side conversations, please. You could see side David. Thank you.
Let's leave in the downtown. The town is better than the rest of downtown, and I just try to do the best that I can to help my friends, colleagues, neighbors, including myself in the downtown core. And what I'm trying to understand here is, when you don't have the help and representation for quite some time, when I see other councilors doing amazing stuff in their wards, and I don't see the representation in our ward, it makes me very, very upset. Okay, and I can speak for a couple different wards that are doing like very nicely. Our downtown, no solution, no answers, and no plan.
All right, thank you. One more comment, any last comments before we move on?
That's a great council.
All right, I will just reiterate that no one is questioning anybody's dedication to this board. If you want to be active, I will happily have you address cats, and there are committees you can always serve on, which is always encouraged by our board chairs. If we can move on, we have two options, or three options, really. We
Can you
can,
finish with comments?
I would like to be, do you have one last one?
Yes, I
We'll go with that.
There seems to be a misunderstanding that the downtown business community is isolated from the residential. And any other area of the city does not represent or does not have the size of the downtown business. Port Duluth's got one street. Barron's got Hartsel Road. So there's some confusion that I represent the ward. The ward is being represented. This is a different situation because of the massive businesses compared to the other wards. Most of the business, notwithstanding Fourth Avenue, is downtown. This is unique. And to indicate that the city and the rest of the ward, but the people that are directly affected are the ones that are gonna be hurt by this designation, and that's why they were against it in such a difficult way and fought it. But keep in mind that we have two different areas within the ward.
So if I were to just bring this back, just to be really clear, folks. The question is about our council representation. That's it. Right? And we understand some of the reasons why people are dissatisfied with that council representation. That in itself is not a question. Thank you. Great to have Donnie here as a wingman, and you can be my wingman anytime. I'm gonna give Robin some time for rebuttal, and then we're gonna move on to the options available to us.
Thanks, Karen. I think the role of a counselor, and I was going to my former colleague, well, we weren't former colleagues, but former counselor Heather Fox. And I would ask any of my colleagues that as a counselor, we have multiple, many issues that we deal with. And there are always going to be disagreements. The suggestion that I'm not interested in downtown, or that I am not interested in downtown businesses. For the issues at hand, and I hope that the board, when it comes time for the regional budget, will be just as passionate when it comes to advocating at the region for additional mental health, addiction, and homelessness supports, which is honestly the only way we're going to address the issues downtown. I would suggest, or I would state, I have done ride-alongs with the NRP. I have done ride-alongs with our outreach staff when it comes to homelessness. Both Caleb and I and the mayor strongly advocated for a Welcoming Streets initiative, which has been hugely successful in other cities and municipalities to help deal with the homelessness issue. We can disagree on heritage, and I believe in listening to staff and getting studies and understanding. And I will say that I also worked very hard to come up with some alternative solutions that were that balanced out the issues of heritage and districts and things like that. But I will certainly say that the issues we have downtown that are the most pressing are homelessness, addiction, and mental health. And at the city level, I would say I spend 90% of my time dealing with homelessness, addiction, and mental health. And it is no longer just a downtown problem. There are 50 encampments currently across the city. And I've been to a bunch of them, and I've been dealing with residents across the entire city. We may disagree fundamentally or completely on a heritage district. But as a counselor, I do have to balance, and that it is my responsibility to balance all the information I receive. And there's a thing called an election that comes up that if people and the residents of my ward, and this goes to Caleb as well, that there is something called an election that will be happening next year. That if people are unhappy, if the residents are unhappy with Caleb and I, you can vote us out.
Thank you.
I don't always, sorry, Karen, I'll be quick, right? I know, come over my son. But just because the GNCC has an opinion, I can tell you, Hugo and I have regular conversations where Hugo and I do not agree. But he does not tell me how to vote. No one tells me how to vote. I vote based on what I know. I base on my moral compass. And that's how I vote. Thanks.
All right, so we have three options available to us. One is to do nothing. One is to maybe encourage and reestablish good connections between our executive director and our regional and our city councillor. And which in turn means that our responsibility as a board is to support our executive director to give them strong direction, good direction from the board and support in that relationship. And then the third option is to write a letter to city council questioning the representation on this board. Is that correct?
That would be correct.
Would you like to make any comments on?
I can let you know that, if your option number 3, about a new representative, is explored, there is no appetite for council to remove counselor in person from the board. And I received that directly from the mayor this morning.
So that makes it even more clear.
Sorry.
So is there anybody who would like to put a motion on the table?
Are we allowed to respond to Counselor?
I think at this time that was a final rebuttal.
You can't respond to her.
No, I think we've had enough discussion. I think it's time to move on. So. Can someone call, we have to make a motion if we want to, yes, we can't call a question till the motion is there. Does anybody have a motion to put forward?
We have to make a motion to do nothing.
No, we can make a motion to receive this. We can receive this conversation for information purposes. But if there is no motion on the table, a motion to receive this conversation for information.
Say something, just respect the mayor's decision, and we'll try the mayor's path.
Sorry, I cannot hear two conversations at once. Thank you.
I will respect the mayor's decision, I respect him very much, and if he feels that it's in the best interest, then I will support the decision. Because it's a good man, and done very well for our city so far, I respect him, so I think that, if he feels it's not a good idea, then. Yeah, I think we'll look what he says.
All right, Orhan, thank you very much for those comments. So I'm seeing no motion on the table.
Maybe to receive this conversation of the council representation on the SCDA board, which is the direct question of the recent session.
To receive the discussion for information purposes. So that was it, David. Thank you. Do I have a seconder? Stephen? Bedford?
Is David, that's
David Cooperman, Stephen Bedford, all in favor? Any opposed? Any abstentions? For folks, just a reminder that you do need to commit to one of those. You can say yay, you can say nay, or you can abstain.
Oh, we should be committed.
And say as a no. Okay. All right. Thank you very much, Donna. We really appreciate your being here.
Thank you, Donna.
All right, and now I need a motion to go in camera for our staff discussion.
So moved.
David,
Second.
seconded by Katie. If we could, if I could ask all our visitors to leave for the.
Yeah, my shirt.
Yeah, the River Lions are
Robin.
champions, 2 years in a row.
Yeah, great.
Double champs, double champs.
Excellent.
I like that shirt.
All right.
Is that one of the freebies?
What the hell?
Like one of the ones you got at the, yeah.
I've got one.
Can I have a motion to approve what was discussed in camera? David and Stephen, second, actually make it Orhan, I haven't had one from Orhan yet. David, seconded by Orhan, all in favor? Excellent, anyone opposed? Move on.
Well done, Karen.
Well done, Kat. And now we're into the chair position, are there any nominations for chair?
So we have 2 nominations that came through this.
Oh, chair.
Yeah.
What do we have to deal with? So I appointment first.
Normally we wouldn't, the chair has been vacant for 3 months officially, it is actually, I have been in this position. Voluntarily, assuming the acting chair for 6 months, pretty much, they figured it out, which is a long time. So I mean, like I said, if you wanna nominate me, that's fine, but I think after 6 months, we need to nominate a chair.
Can I nominate you?
You can do whatever you want.
What point of order? Should we not be voting on the new appointment to this board first?
Yes.
No, we don't need to, because this has been outstanding before.
Well, I appreciate that, but I think it's relevant.
The new person's gonna know nothing.
Yeah, it is.
Oh, I guarantee you the 2 nominees know a lot.
Right.
So I'm gonna just say point of order says no. Point of order is actually a no on that one, but Katie?
They also wouldn't be able to vote this,
That's correct,
right, until they're ratified.
but I think it's relevant that we have that appointed now, that's my opinion.
We'll have this appointment right, it's
So what do you-
state of my business. Actually, I'm the chair, or, but
Oh,
then,
you are.
yeah.
Oh, sorry.
Stephen's, or Joe's got his hand up and I will look over there and go, yeah, Joe.
Could I ask that we vote for our next board member and then discuss the chair position after that?
Yes.
For that movement, it is not, we've already approved the agenda. It didn't come up during the approval of the agenda that we should relocate it, so you've already approved it. To go in this order.
Then could I put a motion forward that we discuss the chair position once the board is whole? We're going to be adding a council member.
It is not, doesn't have to happen, you can put a motion forward if that needs to happen.
I believe it would be most appropriate to have the discussion when our full board is available.
And do you like to second the motion, David? All right, and then Amy, you can have a question on your own.
Okay, so board chair, are we saying that there are nominees? Like, are there different ones?
We can nominate as many people as you like for chair.
Okay, and so
And then you
as
can
of right
vote on it.
now in this agenda, that's what we're doing.
That is exactly what we're doing.
Okay, so who are the other nominees?
Whoever you would wish.
There's a motion.
Oh, someone has to nominate.
I understand, so.
I'm
you
just
could
for
nominate
clarification.
one.
There's a motion for. To have the
Amy was
appointment.
asking how the actual.
I was just for clarification, I didn't know, I'm sorry, I missed the last meeting, so I just wanna be clear before I do any voting, I just wanted to know. Who else wants to be that position is my question, and she was just telling me that you would have to nominate someone for that position, it was just for clarity, I apologize.
Also have one, but I did technically put a motion forward.
I know you put a nomination for.
Right, okay,
That's fine.
great, thank you.
And I'm fine with going to it. Sure.
Great.
So we have a motion on the floor. Do we wish to postpone the election of a board chair until,
Board is whole.
right, until, yeah, and ask the question.
What is being paused by postponing this for another meeting or for ratification for another board member?
It's just the inclusion of another board member, a new board member to vote on chair. What one has to actually ask is, am I willing to do another month of chair? And I am no longer willing to do that.
So does anyone else have nominations?
So the motion is on the floor.
Yeah.
So you can move it ahead. But then somebody else is gonna have to run the meetings, go and sign the checks and do all,
So we can vote on it.
and coach that.
Yeah.
If there's someone else gonna nominate, let's get on with it.
Well,
Yeah.
let's vote on the.
So guys,
Sorry.
this is not a free form discussion, this is a board meeting.
Gotta vote on it.
We have a motion on the floor. Do we wish to postpone the election of a board chair till after the board and all has been completely filled and all positions are filled? The information I will give you is I am no longer willing to do this as acting board chair. I will either do it as elected board chair or I will.
We'll vote on the motion on whether or not we want to postpone it.
I am going to call the motion.
You've got enough time in your hands.
I am going to call the question.
You don't have a full-time job.
I am calling the question. All in favor of postponing it.
Oh, postponing.
All right, I can count 4. All in favor, all opposed,
You didn't hear it.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The motion is defeated. Can we go back to having nominations for board chair?
Yes, I would like to nominate Karen.
I accept the nomination.
And a second. If you need one.
I nominate Charlotte.
All right, Chardon, do you accept the nomination?
No, I can't.
Are there any nominations for board chair?
If we, question, if we were to get a new person on the board, that's filling the spot for a new board member, at what point can we consider that new individual for the chair? Thank you.
I believe that question is just not, is out of order. It is. We're not in that position.
If
We're
you're,
in question right now.
if you are elected the chair, then we would be gapping still vice chair. So we would have to decide if you want to fill that today too, or if that's something that could be filled by board member coming in once it's ratified.
And usually we do give it a meeting,
Mhm.
so that could be.
And that hasn't been vacant.
So make a full nomination.
Absolutely.
Hey, Milan, do you think you could do it?
Milan, do you accept the nomination?
No, I wish I could. I can't. I'm sorry.
All right. And be rest assured and be reminded that this is for a year and 3 months. Until we have a full nomination yet.
And PHM?
After the elections.
It's that PHM.
All right, any other nominations?
I move the nominations be closed.
Can we go on camera or something, right? This,
Absolutely not, that's not actually, yeah, unless it's a question about staff. Remind.
You're not asking to go on camera at this point during the meeting.
You can ask, but it doesn't mean that you do.
No, I don't know, I'm asking, I feel like you're not.
Or it's the money, that's it.
That's it.
Folks, one conversation, please.
Or if it's something personal, like, grades, education, that type of thing, that's all that we can do.
you should have a discussion in camera about this particular position. Oh my God.
I'm afraid to keep that's actually against bylaws.
Clarification, here, I'm a little confused. Did you not say you didn't want it, now you do want,
I do not want to be acting chair for any board.
Thank you.
It has just been, I just had to take it on without the title, and in fact, and so, no.
Okay, then you.
I will accept the nomination to be chair. Are there any further nominations? Asking once?
Joe, will you?
Sorry, it's just not possible in the business world right now to do more, I'm happy to participate on the board.
Are there any other nominations asking twice?
Can I nominate if you've already been nominated? Is that how it works?
So I have been nominated.
We're gonna vote.
So you're, okay, so I'll discuss.
Are there any other nominations asking thrice? And I'm afraid I'm your board chair by acclamation.
Perfect.
No, congratulations, for exactly.
I know.
They are.
Congratulations.
I don't know.
Brown is a heavyweight now.
You
Okay,
think the pulpit was difficult?
So.
I think I've had much more difficult jobs. If we can move on to our vacancy discussion. For our board vacancy. We are going to move in camera,
This one is also actually public.
so it's public until we actually nominate.
No, it's, the whole thing is public. We
Okay.
put the motion there just in case.
Okay, thank you.
We originally used to go with camera for things like this, but.
It's been not
With Donna, and
Perfect. So we are not moving in camera. We have two nominees for board vacancy.
We need to amend that because it says in camera.
Ask
Um,
no, it says suggested motion.
Oh,
so-
okay, sorry, thank you.
So we have two nominees for a board vacancy. Do we have any time for them to speak to us? Yeah. A couple of minutes or?
I feel like if that's.
Would that be helpful to everyone to have a couple of minutes?
I think it's appropriate.
How do you folks feel about 2 minutes each?
Yeah.
2.5 minutes? Sounds good? All right.
Two. About 2 minutes?
Yeah, 2 minutes.
2 minutes?
About 2.5.
The minute one.
All right. Who would like to go first?
I'll let answer.
All right, thanks, Jake.
And go. Hi guys, I'm Dick. I've been, a member of the downtown community for a little while now. You can see in the application, I've been on a couple of different committees, started out in the state cycling committee, which is no longer a thing, done block credit for the last few years, because it's on governance. I'm here because I love the community. Like there's whole, like when all you have is a hammer, everything's a nail. Like my hammer is community. Like it is the lens through which I see everything. And I have been grateful that through my professional life, I now have a little bit more time and I want to use that time to get back to the community. I thought joining this board would be a great time. I have exactly 1.5 minutes. I've done a lot of talking and I prefer to listen. So if anyone has a question, I'm happy to field the question for the next 2 minutes. If anyone wants to get a better sense of who I am, more specific.
All right, I'm gonna give you 2 minutes to, if we have any questions. Does anybody have any questions or hand?
Do you have any investments in the downtown core?
What are we talking about
Property,
here?
real estate, or business?
So I represent Restaurant Cape One. So they are a small.
So that's a no.
I have no fiscal investments downtown. That is not to say that the investment in the community is not.
And I'm gonna just make a point of order that's actually not relevant. This is a downtown business rather than a downtown landowners or property owners.
Question. Hold on, that's that.
And no, actually, it's a point of order. That is not a requirement, therefore it is not actually applicable.
Say that again?
Yeah, I'm gonna go to Joe. It's not applicable because that's not a requirement, for, we are a business association, not a property owners association. It's just.
So I think you described what you, thank you very much for taking the time to have an interest in the board. You described your volunteer roles to downtown. Is there any employment or any other aspects to your downtown life, please?
Yeah, so I formerly worked at Dispatch Restaurant downtown. I'm sure all of you know Adam / President. It is through that that I kind of got my first experience. So I had 2 years employment downtown. I cycled to work every single day. I did the same thing a lot of the other business owners do here. I picked up garbage on the street. I said hi to our Iron House folks. I did my best to contribute. And yeah, I like to think that the restaurant had a lasting impact on the overall culture of the downtown, in addition to providing an excellent experience to those who try this.
So working in a restaurant now, or just you had been working in a
I
restaurant?
had been working in a restaurant, so I currently made a career change. I had to make a choice between either getting major surgery on my knee in order to keep cooking or step out of the kitchen. I've since taken a work from home position, but I'm choosing to represent a restaurant downtown because that's like it's something that's near and dear to my heart. And folks who are running restaurant people are dear friends of mine, and I do have a pretty vested interest in their success.
I think I have time for one more question. I got 40 seconds left.
So in terms of businesses downtown, you would say that you have an expertise in the restaurant business.
I would say that I have an expertise.
And you'd be able to help into the network of restaurant businesses that are major downtown. I just.
Yeah, I would say through a
Saturday
combination.
night.
One,
Thank you.
networking. One, networking, absolutely. Two, I do actually have an educational background, so I have a culinary degree from Niagara College. I also have a certified red seal, so I'd say that would count.
Thanks.
Great. All right, let's move on. Thanks so much, Jake.
Thank you, guys.
Mark, you're up. Stunning, David. You got.
Go for it. I've been downtown probably for, not quite 25 years. I believe in downtown. I like it down here, my business building and everything. I know we're not supposed to say that. Advocate, I patronize. Try to patronize as many places as I can down here. Other Joe's, because I haven't won the lottery, but if I do, it's my first stop. Amy, I'm probably visiting your girls at least twice a week, buying shoes or taking people in. We need more businesses down here that will help our business community. And that's a lot of it. It's not saying what I do or whatever, but how can we get more businesses down here to help and do this? Without it, we don't have a DTA. Okay, we pay a lot of tax, we do this, but just to create and be positive about our downtown. And talk positive about downtown, but like it used to be, and bring that atmosphere back, okay? People say, oh, downtown's rough. No, it's not. It's getting better and it will get better. If we can put that point across to the community, you will see and advocate to say, what a great downtown. I've taken friends up and down the street from other cities and they said, you got a really neat downtown. Needs a little bit of work. I said, yes, and we're working on it. Never cut up your own place. Always promote it and always be for it. So it's not about me, it's about helping the downtown. Forget about me, but helping the downtown, helping that. And if the heart of the city grows and strives, then the rest of the arteries will also. So anyway.
All right, thank you so much, Mark. Does anybody have questions for Mark? Yeah, Katie.
Sorry, I have a question.
Yes.
Could you just tell me a bit more about you and what you do downtown and your involvement with the downtown association?
So I didn't even get into that.
Yeah.
Because that was fairly necessary.
But I'm curious.
Okay, real estate broker for probably older than you. And I have a mortgage brokerage. I have a tenant upstairs who's an insurance broker. So you're trying to promote that. And down here, for at least I'm 23, but my business is always downtown here. On downtown stuff for years, doing things. My mother, back before we were off, used to work for Kernahan Graves Insurance from 1943, 44 to 1954 when my dad took her away and married her, took her to another city. Okay, but so I've seen it, and I remember the days of Moonlight Madness sales and sidewalk sales and all these different great things. And they're possible, they can happen again. And it's just a matter of saying, hey, how can we do this? Let's promote it and let's see the positive. So.
Wonderful. Thanks so much, Mark. I'm gonna go over to Joe.
Your business would pay property tax downtown. You would know that you pay into our association's the levy each year.
Yeah, and I don't want to keep that away from Jay, but yeah, and most the business owners, property owners, they do have that the tax levy for the BIA.
Yeah.
So again, that's a part of certain things. It's something that they get to somewhat of account. It takes a long time. Maybe Jay will buy a nice restaurant building and open up his own restaurant.
I'm gonna try and just divest us from that, because renters also pay by paying their rent, and those rents.
Yeah, that's correct.
Yeah, so let's just be clear with that one. Yeah, over to order.
Yes, sir.
Last question.
How well do you think you know downtown?
Very well.
How many years have you been hanging around downtown, property owners, even visiting the restaurants?
So it's 10. Well, seriously. So no, and there, but property owner for a little over 20 years, business owner for probably close to 30. And we've got a great downtown.
But you understand downtown, correct?
Yeah, but we've got a great downtown.
You frequent downtown, right? How often do you think you frequent downtown in the week?
8. 8 a week, okay,
And then the other thing too is every time you buy a pair of shoes off Amy Morrison, you come over and ask me my opinion.
yes. Amy,
Great.
Amy, when do you get your records back?
All right.
We actually already finished the question, so we're kind of done at that point.
So Mark, you understand, wood shop, you understand, where do you go for lunch again?
It depends, wherever Dave Cooperman's taking me, but sometimes to,
So you have a friendly
Helen's.
relationship with some board
yeah,
members?
yeah.
Okay.
Hello, Deli.
I'll sell it.
We're finished our questions. I'm gonna
Great,
call the
thank
vote. I'm gonna call the vote. Can I have a show? Yeah.
I understand if we don't put time, but we all were talking about how we're gonna help with the restaurant and like how this promote.
Folks, can I not have 3 conversations, please? Thank you. Amy, please start now.
Okay. And just so we ask questions about like where he shop and how long he's been here and all of that sort of stuff. This gentleman, we only asked a question whether he owns a restaurant. I was just wondering if I could ask the question, how he would like promote retail. Cause I might be the only retail, but I understand if there is no more time.
The only thing that I can put it to the board, does the board agree to allow Amy to ask one more question?
Legitimate question, yeah, I can say so.
All right, okay, so Amy, go ahead.
So I just wanted to ask, I know that you're big in the restaurants and I know that this is like a booming town for restaurants. But I'm retail and I know that there's many retail that are also suffering during the day. How could you promote that? Or how would you feel to promote that? Or even put like restaurant retail kind of together?
So, it's a great question. And I think one of the things that's in my application that you noticed when there was an issue brought up, or not issue, but one of the things that I kind of had a slight criticism for was kind of like the perceived lack of advocates for these sorts of businesses downtown. So my general stance is that the rising tide floats all boats. And given the sheer amount of vacancies downtown and things like that, I think working on the small little things, the everyday things, the client experience, like I would say the unifying factor that you and I have is providing an excellent client experience. And how can we extrapolate that information to the broader downtown? If things are more beautiful, are more people gonna come downtown? If people feel safer, are more people gonna come downtown? I think all of these things are things that are important individually on their own, but also compound to the larger betterment of all of our business. Is that a assumption?
Like, do you mean like if you're making it beautiful, that more people would want to have retail down here or you're?
Yeah, and then more people would come down and spend their money here. The more people that come down here in aggregate are only going to improve all of our retail businesses. There are very few, and like that is kind of one of the things that saddens me about downtown. Like, I would like this area to be kind of like a one-stop shop, not only as a tourist destination, but also for the folks who live and work here. Like I'm a big advocate of the boot shop. Thank you for all my Blundstones over the years. They have served me well. And having these kinds of small businesses, I love small niche little shops, and it really irks me that like I gotta go to Toronto for that. Like, there's no reason why specialized retail can't exist downtown. It's not my area of expertise, but I'm happy to, if we want to do a committee or something like that on investigating ways to bring creative retail downtown, I'm more than happy to do so. Was that the 2 minutes?
B2C and B2B, like.
Okay, yeah.
Sorry, oh my gosh, yeah,
That's
sorry.
right now. Thank you so much, Dave.
Yeah.
Yeah, all right, so let us call the vote. Can I have a vote for, everyone ready? Milan, you're good there? All right, can I have a vote for all those in favor of bringing on Mark Avazian on board? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Am I counting that correctly?
Sorry, John.
Oh, okay. Right, all those in favor of bringing on Jake? All right, 5, well, I'll cast a deciding vote for Jake. Well, thank you. Thank you so much, Mark. I really appreciate it. Congratulations, Jake. I'm afraid I'm a big believer in retail. I'm getting more people down there. And I'm sensitive now for its time. All right, so governance update. If we can move over, Kat, can you just give us an overview? I'm hoping everyone has had a chance to look at the policies. We did finish them a couple of months ago. So Jake, do you want to come and have a seat at the table?
Is that okay, absent ratification?
I don't think you can vote.
You cannot vote yet, but you can have a seat at the table, how's that? Fair. Yeah, do you wanna give us just a quick overview
Sure,
on
so governance has been reworking some of the policies, and one that's been finalized is one where, I was just hoping the name was on there, but it's not on there, but it's for discrimination, reporting any harassment, workplace violence, that type of thing in the workplace. And so we've developed a policy, there's a posting that will go up in our office. There's also a reporting form for anyone submitting the complaint, so that you go on file, and an investigation form, so there's a proper procedure to work through it. We've had it go through governance, and it has been changed and approved, and you can find the link to it. It's been on the last 3 agendas, I think now, to just go through the board and have your final say so that you can implement it. We currently do not have any specific way to spend or concern for that.
For the staff, for this is really specifically geared towards staff.
It's geared towards staff, but really staff. So it could be through members coming forward or board members. It gives us the ability to track things and go through a process to ensure that we've given it the due diligence of attention, and where does it go after that, right?
All right, so if I can ask someone to move the acceptance of the new policy, posting, reporting form, and investigation forms. Thank you, Jen. Can I have a second? Robin, is there any questions that we have for that? All right, I'll call the vote. All in favor of adopting this? I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Alan, are you voting? Yeah, excellent. All right, thank you. And all against? Okay.
Abstentions.
You know, it was interesting when Donna said just an abstention is a no,
Yeah.
which is, you know,
Yeah,
so
exactly.
evidently I don't need to call for abstention. All right, thank you very much. Let's move on. Executive committee update. And actually Pat will also lead us through some of these scheduling things, because I don't have the schedule in hand.
For sure, I really wanted to touch on something for governance, so that's important for all of you guys to know.
Oh, yes.
We have been working on a code of conduct as well, but since working closer with Donna and city clerk, or the acting city clerk, it's been lovely. We are looking to update our procedural bylaws, which have not been updated since 2016. We're also not able to create a new code of conduct because we're also meant to follow the city code of conduct. So in governance, I've already had several meetings with Donna to start kind of going through the procedural bylaws. It is a big task. We are going to continue working on it through the governance committee. The next meeting for governance is at September 2nd at 1 p.m. It keeps changing. It's because it's so important to have as many people at the table that are interested in being there. So please know that that is happening right now. Once we have gotten to a place, there will be a presentation, of course, to the board on the changes, requested changes or recommended changes from the clerk. And then also we received confirmation today that the board will be receiving training through the municipality. I don't have any details on that yet, and it's going to come through governance with more details. So as soon as I know more, I'll provide it to you as well. This is coming from the city of St. Catharines. It's something that they've initiated.
Is there a cost to us associated with this?
No, well, I should say these wait for me to follow up. Okay, but
Yeah, but the understanding is no.
Oh, yeah.
There is, and we'll find out for sure. All right, and the AGM, do we have a date for AGM?
Yeah, so sorry, I should have kept going. For the AGM, I've been putting some things on the docket and starting to get the budgets ready to present. So I wanted to kind of give you an idea of what I'm looking at. So we're hoping to host the AGM this year on December 2nd as an evening open house, like a networking and an opportunity, of course, to hear about everything happening in the downtown. We do need to have our budget finalized by the end of October, so the staff have been hard at work putting together some member info sessions, surveys. We have 4 member info sessions, 2 will be in person, 2 will be online, and we'll also have surveys, and I'll be doing as much door to door as possible to get feedback from members on just what they think you'll see in the downtown. I'd be happy to send that to you guys before it goes live, just to see if you have any feedback on that. I currently am not finished with it yet, but will be for the month of September. And then I'm hoping for September 29th or 27th, whatever the Monday is, to be able to present to you the first draft budget. So we can start looking at 2026, and then it can be approved by the end of October. And that gives us enough time to get it to our membership in time for the AGM on December 2nd. So those are timelines I'm thinking, and we're looking at right now.
That sounds good.
Could I-
Any questions? Yeah.
A question. So is there any chance that I guess I always think about budgets as being implementing a strategy or an action plan.
Yes,
So can we see your action plan before we see your budget?
yes.
Or will there be an action plan that will come along with the budget?
So I've already, with staff, we've put together a list of what priorities and strategies we would like to see implemented in 2026. Of course, I want to get feedback from the members just to make sure that there is alignment. Yeah, people know it's being proposed, and that's gonna be the purpose of the member info sessions. Yeah, so I mean, essentially, I wish I would have been able to have something come today, and then September we could have more time.
Yeah.
But it will likely be September that this would be presented to you guys, because that's when we have all the data from the members as well.
Great, but it'll come before the budget.
Yeah, and at any point that those priorities are set, as soon as I start letting members know, we'll put it together kind of a draft of what we're looking at for next year. And it will be in the public, and I'm gonna be encouraging one-on-one conversations, because I really wanna make sure that people know what we're thinking and positive about as well.
And I also think it too, at the end of October, Sharvana, am I correct in saying that that's pretty ambitious? Like, the end of November is kind of a big deadline, so we've got some room.
But the
Yeah.
thing is, we have to have the budget approved by October 29th. That's why it's so ambitious.
Yeah. But it's the end of November, October, so yeah.
Yeah, so once the budget's approved, we can still, we'll be working on those plans, so very passionately for the office. And there's room for that for sure.
Any other questions about them? And about the so you've already started talking about a strategic plan.
Yes, so our strat plan expired in 2023. It went from 2020 to 2023. There has been talks about redoing the strat plan. So what we're doing right now, of course, is we're focusing on how are we gonna do 2026. I'm gonna look to put a committee together from January to July of next year to start developing the new strat plan. My proposal is that you have it go for 5 years. So it goes for the next term that will get elected in next year, they'll have their term of service, and then the second term after that can help build the next strat plan. So that's coming in the new year, and of course, we'd love to have all of you at the table for determining that.
And it's a great opportunity if you haven't been involved in a committee, maybe this is the committee you want to be involved with. Any other questions?
Yeah, and I think that's an excellent point. There's been a lot of conversation about people that own buildings and people that don't own buildings. And with all due respect, people that own buildings seem very passionate about activity in the downtown. So the way to be involved, owners of the buildings, is please be involved in developing the action plan for the downtown association. That's the way to implement change in the downtown, is to be involved as owners. I'll be involved, but I'm not an owner. I represent an owner, and the owner usually agrees with me. But that's what I just encourage owners to do, that, so that you have control of the downtown. You're in a position to manage.
Through the chair, do we have like a going list of who's on committees and who's attending them and who's chair?
We do, I have to say that with the change of leadership, some of our committees have kind of changed the way that they were. Some have been poorly attended, so they've been on pause, and there's been some vacations lately. So I think that re-looking at the committees is part of our 2026 proposal as well, but I do have that list.
Yeah, because if I'm not mistaken, directors are supposed to chair of subcommittee.
Yeah, we are all that's chair.
I was just wondering if, I know that it's brought up a business committee, is that something that?
I think that's perfect to put in, and if we have a proposal ready earlier, we can vote on it as a board to implement it earlier than a strategic plan. It sounds fantastic, yeah.
Through the chair, Pat, is that know what advocacy is?
I can answer that.
Oh,
As the chair. Advocacy can be a whole bunch of different things. So it can be advocating with Niagara Regional Police to have patrols. It can be advocating with the city to figure out their bylaw people. It can be advocating for all of those things. This will be much more focused by this.
It's great, because I'm doing a creative way to bring businesses out, because what's going on in the mall too, I think, to
Yeah.
buildings and stuff, really cool.
To jump on that retail opportunity, and you're absolutely right.
But it extends to a really high over level of the priorities that we're kind of looking at now, or we prefer to wait until things roll out.
I think let's, we'll talk offline and see how we can get a few people together maybe and start looking at some stuff to be able to put it out to the general membership. Does that sound okay?
Let's see something.
I'm eager.
Good. All right, the Ohio conference update. I'm mindful of everybody's time. We can get out of here by 1, I think we'll all love it.
There are currently no updates for the conference, we're still doing regularly, I will pass on something, we're looking for speakers, so if anyone would like to speak at our info center, that would be welcomed. And then also we do need to decide who wants to attend, because that is going to be a budget consideration, so I can email out the rates, but how many of our board would want to attend this for the actual day itself?
Okay, great. So can you draft an email and kind of give an oversight of what that would entail? Yes. That'd be great. Thanks, Stephen. Mural update.
The mural, the survey to the public, we had almost 300 people fill it out, which was awesome. We also did some lessons in here to see what people are looking for and what comes into the downtown. The number 5 was chosen and it's gonna be started this week, I think. If everything goes good, so it's gonna be immediate. It's gonna be in the, like, underneath where the Lincoln Bridge and then the little pathway that goes in that.
Yeah.
In that area.
I'm sure. Any questions about that or? All right, CIP.
I also noticed that we have some window displays up. I only saw the one near Harold's, but that was you see as well. So that was the window vinyl displays with the artwork on it. So I'm not sure if they're all up, but I've only seen one so far.
There's the other one over by, I think, it was included on once in Paul Porter, 45 degree.
Well, that's super good.
That one's amazingly good.
Good, because that building needs help.
I support the actual picture and the image, and it's very, very welcoming. It's really making you feel good when you drive by, walk by, bike by.
The bike
That's
like the vineyard or
I'd
the,
love to see more of those personally. I think they make you feel good when you see that. It's nature.
Yeah,
Okay, it's a feel good.
yeah, that one.
yeah,
Okay, so I'd
Really
like to
uplifting.
encourage that, use that as an example and grow from that.
I was like, you're gonna be so much.
excellent.
If you have ideas, it's.
All right,
So for CIP, I delegated on behalf of members a favor. We actually worked with the city to do a survey for reaching out to our property owners and to our businesses. We held a member info session along with city planning staff. And I also did a lot of one-on-one contact with property owners to get as much feedback as we could planning. And when they took through the report, we delegated in favor at the public meeting at city council and it was passed. I think September 5th, I believe, is when the applications open up for it. As soon as I get confirmation on that, I can pass along, but it's been in all of the weekly updates with information. It's on engaged SCDA does. It's really exciting.
does anybody have any questions about the CIP or about CAP's delegation? Well done, I think that's a great one where you were able to go delegate and express our interests. Well,
Yes.
so thank you. Every time you delegate, it seems it's successful, so maybe you should keep delegating.
I'm starting those classes Wednesday.
Oh, no, wait.
Fantastic.
Really,
It is.
Yeah, really good, especially the primer.
All right. Events committee updates.
So we have, these are actually kind of like past updates, we haven't had a check schedule, but I really wanted to let you guys know that Holy was amazing, we had 4,000 attended, 63% this year were from out of town tourists. So we already have people wanting to partner and sponsor for next year. So that event.
So how much does Holy actually end up costing us? Is it a pretty much almost neutral?
It's, yes, we actually came out on top for it. I have the budget, I had it.
Oh, no, it's just anecdotally, it's fun.
Yeah, we ended up coming out on top, but with the amount that we charge for the paints and the t-shirts and the sponsors that we bring in and the vendor fees that we bring in. It does.
That's exceptional. So we're bringing all these people downtown and it's actually not costing us anything at the end of the day.
Well, there's a budget line for it.
Yeah.
And I'm literally gonna work on budget all weekend.
No, that's a question. Yeah,
I wonder in future, because that's such a huge amount of out of town people, if there's something we can implement for members to try and track the actual economic impact of these visitors. You know what I mean?
I think it's hard the day of because they're all wet.
Yeah.
Could be the after effect. that
Yeah.
come back. Yeah, I don't think the shopping.
Or they come on board, you want to get food or something,
All right.
go buy new shoes.
But it may be a good opportunity for the business community to maybe offer incentives
Mhm.
that people come back, you get a discount. Yeah, you have dry shoes, maybe load up on socks.
Yeah.
So the law, like, cool.
Yeah.
All right, block party.
Just quickly, that event costs us 11,500 to put on, and we only paid 3,000 for it. Everything else is 2 sponsorships, and actually we came on top this year, so I would say we had a surplus.
That's also a very like,
We brought in 24,000 for it. I guess 25,000.
it's a big event for a small budget.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
sorry, sure.
Block party?
We had block party as well. Our block party had different wins. Block party was a really great way for us to work with the city. Great conversations came out specifically from Municipal Works about putting a proposal together to look at how we get it back to downtown. So their relationship wise, it was a really excellent partnership.
Why isn't the vacuum going around downtown?
There's not capacity for staff, I believe. I don't want to overstep, but
Maybe the council can answer that.
We don't have capacity. Our staff is at, our staff. Is, work is noted. At current, our staff is at capacity. And unfortunately, we have a limit and we have a budget that we have to stick to.
Can we look at including it in the budget for next year?
Sure.
A partnership or, yeah, let's advocate for that.
With past budget submissions, you can absolutely, we are,
Very happy.
keeping in mind, we already have approved the 3-year budget, but we are happy to always look at
The
additional
allocation.
allocations.
and I already have a meeting on the books with Chris Saunders, and
Yes.
I've been discussing with the mayor already, like these conversations are happening, so
Right.
hopefully.
Is there any way that NOAA can operate with new hours, or is that?
That's something we're gonna definitely look at for sure. There's issues with insurance and that type of thing, but I think there's a lot of creative ways, and it would actually be great to have your insight going through it, because I'm sure. You can help when we're getting the proposal together, help think of different ways that we can do it, but that's being talked about.
Does it take one person to run or does it take a bunch?
I think it takes 2.
To actually.
Yeah, and you have to have it, I still have to get more into it, but from what I've heard so far, you have to have it going for like at least 4 days or days.
So if no one's running it, could you be employed by the city?
Wouldn't that be amazing?
Like, it's hard.
This is always, yeah, so, yeah, there's potential, so I know Pat's got those ideas, and Chardon can help out with that, that will be super, because I think there's nothing more we'd like than a vacuum going.
I volunteer to ride the vacuum.
That's, maybe it's kind of like a Zamboni.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll all have a ride.
Yeah, I wanna look at Zamboni. Oh,
I'd still do it.
okay.
She's still pushing.
Another really positive thing with the city from the block party was we heard that it was the market's best day. Block party was really busy up until 3 o'clock, close to the market. It showed that it worked really well to pair something like that with market, so that was a win of the event. I think we are re-looking at how we're doing block party. I'm not sure if Milan wanted to add anything into this. I know he's got some brilliant ideas as well, but these are things that will go into consideration for these member info sessions and the proposal for next year that we bring forward or approve.
Milan.
Yeah. So I've been brainstorming ways to make that event a little bit better, because I think it is really cool and something that could be a reoccurring event that we could advertise to people outside of the region. I think right now it's a little bit landlocked with Niagara. One of the things that I've seen just from the content that I've been creating for St. Catharines and the market specifically is that people will drive like all the way from Toronto to come and see and do things here, given that they are attractive enough to do them. From my perspective, I think that there could be an option to provide the funding through a grant and put up an RFP for an events business to kind of handle the logistics of the event. And then the Downtown Association staff and any of the volunteers that are included in that, like the committees, could focus on running the event and creating more of a content piece to attract people to come. I don't know what that looks like. Obviously, I have a very narrow perspective on it. I just walked the event and just was kind of taking notes on how I think it could be better in the lead up. And with all of that said, like Kat and the team and everyone who's a part of that event and that committee, like you guys do a great job with very, very little. As mentioned kind of on the meeting today, the budget is not so big for the type of scale that you guys are trying to put together. I do think that maybe outsourcing pieces of it to like an events team or like a professional events business might be helpful for us to create a better event, and then also focusing on social media and getting it out there to a greater degree could help bring people from outside of Niagara in, and then that can kind of cascade to bringing people back to things like the retail, the food, and all of the other things that we have going on. I think that's a major component to St. Catharines. We have to have people coming in to discover it. I can give you a few examples from the market that have been super successful. We had one video reach like I think almost 500,000 people for Cho's Snacks at the market. And Deanna last week said since like I've started posting those videos, and specifically that one, they've had more foot traffic there since 2019, which is great. All of those businesses very well deserve it. I think we can kind of mirror those efforts into like the downtown events, specifically the block party, because it is a cool thing that we do.
That's amazing. Thanks so much, Milan. Really appreciate working on that, that committee. You know, I was hanging around and I ran Oregon, and I have been hanging out lately down in this corner of the street. And I did really notice that it really died at a certain time. So I think timing and, or a different event, something different afterwards be really helpful. But yeah, great ideas. I really appreciate that. Did you have?
Sorry, just suggestion as the chair of the St. Catharines Tourism Board, I would strongly suggest you look at an application. We do have a significant amount of money that we've already handed it out for this year, but moving into next year. And it's tied, Milan's actually been part of, with the market application, the videos that he's talking about. Anyway, there are funds available through tourism.
Super. Yeah.
Just segueing, is there any way we can have the market open more than 2 days? Cause we even see just as a business, so we're still in free, isn't it?
No,
Tuesdays
it's
not
only-
there.
It's not Tuesdays anymore.
Want it open every day.
And it's empty, it's so gorgeous in there.
Yeah.
And it's been so busy.
It's
Like,
all, I
unreal.
mean, my market days are different. So I think that's that's.
Think that's okay.
Can we have our counselor look at that if she can?
They just said.
I have, and it's with staff currently.
You can follow up, and that'd be great. Good to know. What would it take? This is not just a question of.
Well, even
turning it
too,
on.
like renting it, are there weddings and stuff like that? It's such a gorgeous venue.
Yeah.
Is it just people working it? Or security or?
It's just, I mean, it's venues, just do people wanna use it? And
I think it's
We've
quite-
used
I
it
think if
through
we
like
had,
in the soil and stuff before.
Yeah.
We've used it through in the soil.
Is it expensive?
I mean,
That kind of vibe, is it for that there?
Milan's used it for cocktail competitions.
Really? Cause I mean, I'm engaged with some of his social media, like there's some places I have not seen or
Yeah.
been. So I'm just even saying like, just a little bit of promotion to that market, and I think people would start, especially with everything being so expensive. People could do their weddings, people could do little dog things there.
It can be kind of like.
Yeah. I'm not sure.
So I went to Milan's event that was at the Market Square, the evening cocktail food pairing. It was a huge hit. Milan, you did a great job at that. That was a phenomenal turnout. It was a great venue. Well, seriously, if anybody had a chance to see that and visit that, I had the privilege of having that. I was invited by Milan. And I stayed right to the end. It was a great time.
Thanks.
Did a great job.
Yeah, so I think the thing is, we love the Market Square, we wanna see more stuff happening down there, so whatever we can do to encourage that, and I'm sure Kat's got some connections with that. Downtown Dulwich, we probably don't have time for a week or don't, recap the just.
Yeah, our last one went really well, this one went really well, is from what we've seen so far, and paired perfectly with Mint of that, which was
Nice.
very nice. We got a lot of media from it, a couple of news articles, radio interview. Yeah, I just have to shout out Milan as well, that the videos I think so viral, and he always generously lets us repost them on the downtown page, which was very helpful for building our own following and bringing people into the court, so.
Thank you so much, Milan.
Good job, buddy.
Yeah.
You're welcome. I'm just showing you stuff. You guys are the stars of the show, so don't give me all the.
Right.
Plus, he's wearing an amazing shirt today. Look at that shirt.
Yeah. Dog days postponed?
It was postponed, we got a lot of interest in it, but just capacity wise, we were starting to like put together an event that wasn't working. So
Yeah.
we decided the best call was to pull back and
Perfect.
redo it. But we made so many connections and got great positive feedback. That's, there's a good for it for sure.
Parade after party?
That is going to be taking place after the parade on September, I think what date is, 28th. It is going to be likely happening in the parking lot this year, in front of 4 o'clock. We're looking to offer a Tuesday brunch area, it'll be licensed, and then it will turn into a kids activity and bands will continue to go. We're also continuing to do our window display contest with it, which we've already started going door to door to get businesses to sign up. It's with crowd favorite, and we've been meeting with Great Mind this week to see how we can work closer together on both of these specialties.
Any questions? Sounds good. Banner update?
So banner update, there have been some design sent and conversations back and forth with the department, service department, they are interested in working with us on implementing some banners, but we haven't gotten to a place yet, we're going through it. Our conference is at the end of April next year, it's April 19th to April 22nd. I would love to see all the banners like up by then, that is a big part of our upcoming goals, and that work continues to go in the background. There are currently Minto Cup banners up and for the map as well, and the Remembrance Day banners will be coming back.
Right, any questions? All right, marketing update.
Marketing update, so just this is again kind of an old update, but it's just been sitting on here.
It's been a while we've
Yeah.
done that, right?
I wanted to let you guys know that the TPAN grant was really well. We had 3.5 million impressions. 60% of those were when we watched the video through, which is pretty incredible because it's a minute long video. We've heard a lot of feedback from just increase of Americans shopping within the downtown, which is yeah. So it was a great way for us to reach different. I know there's a lot going on in the outside world these days, but it was a really great way for us to extend work with that audience, and it's something that I will continue to work with.
Question about the TPN, they have another partnership funding application opening end of September, it's due. Just to put it on the radar.
Yeah, we kind of held back a little bit from not reapplying because the way that we went for the other one, it ate 37,000 of our
Matching, yeah.
with, so we're kind of recovering from the replacement of that or displacement of that, but we definitely want to do that grant again.
I was even thinking in terms of the strat plan, if there's a specific tourism element of it, that might be an opportunity.
Yeah. And I think having that need too of having like physical brochures and postcards that we've been able to place all across Ontario, all across the states, all in our businesses with our different partners, we've seen like a really positive outcome of that as well. So hopefully something that we continue.
Excellent. We have pending on the financials, so do we put that on to next?
That should be updated, sorry, I was just provided with all of the updates for the financials, they were delayed I'm still kind of new to this, I'm not sure if that's normal or not, but we have gotten them, I've gone through them all, and I'm meeting with Shervin tomorrow. We're gonna continue to work on budget, everything looks great, there has been a few issues with just things being added into the wrong category, but I'm working with her to switch it back. I'll call that learning curve. But everything.
No, but there was some irregularities that you actually had to straighten out, that's it, right? Just the way things were reporting.
Oh, yes, yes,
Which is great.
There's been some quirks, and instead of learning the quirks, I'm kind of putting my own quirks on it.
Excellent.
Re-quirkifying it, but yeah, everything looks great though.
Does anybody have any comments or questions for? All right, because we'll wait until after you guys have a chance to have much easier advocacy.
So we also delegated for, sorry, Sharon, we delegated for the parking recommendations, which also passed as well. All that information is available through email or on our website, and then we started a parking advisory group because there's a lot of members that want to say in it, but it's really difficult to get everyone together, so we can call meetings as needed, and there's regular emails that go out specifically to that group, and if you're interested in joining, so yeah.
That's fantastic.
It's basically just being like you're someone I know I can go to if there's changes in parking. I'll make sure you're part of the conversation, you don't miss out on it. Instead of having like regular committee meetings, it's more like ad hoc.
All right.
And also advocacy, CIP, they released some way better funding for new residential units downtown for getting loans.
Fantastic.
On the second
Thank
floor.
you.
The second floor, that
Thank you, advocacy.
that's Stephen Bedford, Rachel, myself and Pat, we're really spearheading
Yeah.
that with the director. And the voices were heard and it's
That is
good.
really huge, because I'll tell you, if people live down here, why would you shop anywhere else, right? Why would you eat anywhere else?
And there's a,
It helps the landlords, it helps the retailers, it helps hospitality and service industry, it's fantastic. And it automatically makes the streets safer.
Yeah.
Okay. So thank you, that's huge. Executive Director, your report's attached, is there any highlight you wanna touch on?
We've gone through all that.
Okay, great. And so, my next one is gonna have a motion to accept the reports as presented. Thank you, Katie, seconded Ben. All in favor? Any opposed? Was that a for or against there, Milan? Thumbs up, thumbs down.
It was four.
Great, you were kind of caught in the crossfire there. All right, then our next one is saving the date for the AGM and a motion to adjourn. At 5 to 1. Woo, thank you, Jen. All done. Have a great day, folks.